Okay, my name is Blunk. I'm project lead for the RADB service at Merit, and this will just be a brief update on RPSLng. Let's see. Curious how many of you are familiar with the RPSL standard? Not a whole lot. Okay. Well, I'm not going to go into the details of RPSL. So RPSLng is an update to the RPSL standard to support IPv6 and multicast, and it's been a work in progress for about the last 3.5, 4 years or so. So it's taken a bit of time. It's taken longer than we had hoped for. So we had several goals. We wanted to maintain backward compatibility with RPSL, so we didn't have like a flag day type situation where people had to switch over to a new server. It was also important to try to limit the number of new attributes and classes in RPSL and to maintain readability and understandability so people don't get confused when trying to figure out policy and trying to create policy in RPSL. So we pretty much finalized the standard at this point. There is a mailing list where you can look at the archives or you can submit comments, but at this point I think we're pretty much done. So a brief summary of changes. There was one new class that was created, the Route 6 class, which is equivalent to the route class except it supports IPv6 prefixes. The other significant change is with the Autonom class, which is used to express AS policy. So there were 3 new attributes created there, a multi-protocol import, export, and default. And there was an AFI keyword added to support address family specification. And several other new attributes were added to various set classes, and I won't go into those in any real detail. So here's just a couple of brief examples. The first one is the Route 6 class that I mentioned. So you see there IPv6 prefix and the origin AS. Pretty simple example. And with the Autonom object, again, you have the AFI specification, and there's several different types shown here. This was taken from the RIPE test database. They have a test server which implements RPSLng. So there's some actual policy there, real policy. As far as the standard status, the internet draft was brought before the IETF Operations and Management Working Group chairs. We decided not to reconstitute the RPS working group since the standard was, it's a pretty minor update to the existing standard, and we didn't really want to go through all that work. So the working group chairs agreed to shepherd it through the ISG, and it's actually been approved by the ISG. And so at this point, we're just waiting on the RFC editor to provide their comments or approval. And so you can find an HTML version of the draft on the RADB website. As far as implementations, there are 2 implementations in Who is Server software. Both Merit and RIPE NCC have implemented support. Merit has their version available on the RRD.net website, and we just released the 2.2 version today, which is consistent with the latest draft. Our RIPE NCC has also updated the RIR toolset with RPSLng compliance. And they are actually turning this code over to ISC for long-term maintenance. At this point, they don't really want to provide maintenance, and they felt ISC was a better place to maintain it. However, they will continue to incorporate patches and updates. It will just be ISC will maintain the CVS repository. So as of today, Merit has implemented RPSLng in the production RADB registry, and you can now register Route 6 objects and IPv6 and multicast policy. And we actually had a couple people today who were so excited that they went ahead and registered a couple Route 6 objects in the RADB. RIPE is planning deployment in November at some point. They need to roll out their software, get it all committed into CVS to make a release. They do have a test server that's up right now on rpslng.ripe.net at port 53001. As far as the other registries like APNIC, or a number of providers have their own registries. I'm not currently aware of any deployment plans. So this is sort of a little bit different topic, but since the RPSLng work is pretty much finalized, we thought it would be good to try to do better coordination among the IRR operators. So we've set up a mailing list at Merit that we're hosting, and we'd like to address several issues such as actually getting deployment among the various registries with RPSLng support, and to address other issues like authority issues and hierarchy, mirroring and replication issues, and also looking at new standards like the CRISP work in IETF, as well as new work going on in routing security, BGP security. So we'd like to encourage people to join this mailing list if they have any opinions or comments. And that's it. Any questions?
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.